All right, we are now supposedly live.
It hasn't come up yet, though.
I'm also looking. I hope I'm in the right group.
In Tarot,
there we are.
Tarot 101?
Yep, there we are.
All right. Something didn't go right. Ah, there it is.
You see it now?
Yep, I've got it now.
So I didn't. Perfect. So I just want to get everything set up. You're going to put your links up?
I'm doing that now. There we go.
Perfect.
You may want to put your name there. It was all Ashura Tarot.
What must I do?
Put your name there. Doesn't put our names.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I need to delete that comment. Let me do mine over. Alrighty. It looks like we've already got one viewer, and welcome to this evening's live. We're just trying to get set up this evening. Maybe a few other people will come on if they see us, so we'll just wait a little bit. Okay.
While we're waiting, I'm going to...
Oh, I see. Just hold it. Yes, you can carry on, Rob.
Oh, no, I'm just getting it where I can actually sit there and watch this.
It's a very cold night in Cape Town.
What is it, about 15?
I have no idea what the actual temperature is, but it is like icicles.
It's, I think it's, let's see here. What is our temperature today? Hang on. I can't see. Well, it's a walloping 64 degrees, so it's about 16 degrees here, Celsius.
Wow. I think we about eat. Maybe it's a bit colder where you are.
It's about to be really cold where I am, so yeah, probably. Within the next 2 weeks, we're going to be starting to get down to 0. So, and then
are you ready for the? Oh my word! I don't think we've ever been at 0 though. I can't imagine life that fateful. I mean, it would be like terrible.
It's friggin' cold. I'm not even gonna lie. Come from a tropical place.
I see you. I see we've got 2 viewers.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start.
Oh. You can go ahead, Rob. Get a good start there. I'm still pasting my card.
Sorry, we're just we were getting everything together. How are you guys doing today? So we wanted to talk today about engaging your spirit guides and some of the how Wazal and I do it, and you know, the little rituals, catching up with your, catching the hints that your spirit guide gives you, these sort of things. Wazal?
Yes. I'll be with you in just a second.
Okay, so if you have any questions for us, like specific questions about your spirit guides, how do you know who they are? How do you connect with them? Please go ahead and ask them. I'm going back and forth looking between the deal here. So want to welcome everybody. Thank you for coming by. You still with us, Wazal?
I am. I'm going to leave my link till a bit later on.
Okay.
Otherwise, see my computer screen's jumping around.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone. Thanks, Rob, for doing that intro. Tonight or today, Rob and I just want to have a little discussion on how to contact your spirit or engage your energy with your spirit guides. And we're going to be talking about contacting your guides. As well as, being in tune with your own energy, because this is a very debatable subject. And I think sometimes people take it to a level of extremity. Rob, I've heard some stories of, people get lost in these over the top stories.
Well, they
Yeah,
get
what's your take on
they get
this?
sucked into the minutia. They're so involved in somebody said this or somebody said that they can't see the reality was all. Don't you think?
Absolutely. And I do. And I think, as someone who yourself the best, there's no one else in this world that knows you better than yourself. So from my view, I would always encourage a person to know their own energy, know your energy. When I say things like control your energy, is know how to read your energy, know how to pick up vibratory patterns in your energy when something is happening to you, or if you're picking up something from someone else. Are you aware of that feeling? Um, a lot of us go through life and then we become like, we're so unconscious of how we feel. This was one of my lessons in life. I started to take notice of how I felt when I was in a room with people. And at first, in my younger life, I used to think, "Ooh, I'm suddenly feeling uneasy. Maybe I'm ill, or maybe I just, there's something wrong with me, or I'm coming down with something." But as I started to take notice of this sensation of how I felt outside of my comfort zones, in other people's company, in other people's houses, or when other people were around me, I realized that I was feeling the other person's energy or the energy in the room. So it's important to be able to know your own energy field, and know when you are energetic messages from other people, or being inside a space where there's lots of energy flying around the room. Rob?
Definitely. Jonan has asked us, how do you know the message you're getting is from your spirit guides, not your mind playing games with you? And this kind of goes to what you're saying right there. The way that I generally know that it's not my mind playing tricks on me is because when I'm reading, I'm very focused on the cards. So my mind doesn't, I don't know how to explain this to you, Jonan, but my mind doesn't really begin to play tricks on me. What happens is I'll hear, if you've ever seen us read or if you ever seen our readings, you know that like sometimes I'll say, there's this song in my head, da 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 da. It's not like an earworm. So an earworm is when you hear a song and the friggin' thing won't go away. It's not like that. It's like it's more like the Marine Corps moved into my head and is broadcasting a song to try and keep me awake. So it's like a torture thing. It's so loud that other things are not being able to be concentrated on. One of the examples that I have, a friend of mine asked me about her mom. What I heard was a Billy Joel song over and over and over and over, and it was the same line. It was just one line over and over and over. And I finally just go, look, here's this line. Da, da, da. My mom loved Billy Joel. That was her favorite song. Okay, so that's how it is. It's not going to be the subtle. It's going to be subtle, but not so subtle that you'll miss it. Your mind playing tricks on you is going to be like doubt. You'll have this moment of doubt, right? or you'll think your mind will start wandering. That's your mind playing tricks on you. Your spirit guides will come out and just kind of pimp slap you with what they want to tell you. That's what I think. What do you think, Lizal?
Rob, I agree with you 100% there. And this is where the issue that we are always discussing in our lessons and tutorials on the group is the issue of trust. You know, we go through our whole lives and we trying to figure out how to trust other people. Can I trust you? You know, you shake someone's hand and you say, how do you do? And the question of trust, how do I trust you? Can I trust you? Are you a trusted person? But then we forget that we need to trust ourselves first. All right. That's where you eliminate some of that doubt. When you do your readings and you embark on this journey of tarot, that is only the start of your journey. The teaching or the learning process, becoming a master at your skill, is going to be mostly getting to know yourself and learning how to trust yourself. How do you trust yourself? How do you know that the message you're delivering is the right message, that your interpretation is the correct interpretation? Is you need to be confident, okay? So when you acquire your knowledge, be very careful of which sources you acquire your knowledge from. Make sure that you don't follow too many people that are going to give you conflicting information, because that's where the doubts come in. It is always good to find a teacher or a source that you resonate with. Again, you need to trust your internal vibration. All right, so I've met someone that can teach me, and we are so comfortable. We click, like you and I, Rob, we connect mentally over the airwaves, and you know the connection is there. So I know I trust what comes out of you, and I trust what comes out of me. As you go on in your readings, your client or your seekers will confirm what you are saying, and that develops confidence. So you know, all right, so that interpretation was great. So next time I'll be more confident. So you start to trust yourself more. When you start to read, I wouldn't be so focused on being dependent on your guides leading you. You start with yourself. Just use yourself as the vessel and start with your mind. That is why I encourage engaging your own common sense, your own creativity, your own psychic imagination. Is look at that tool that is in front of you and engage yourself into it. That is the first step in getting to know your energy and trusting yourself. So to answer the question, how do you know the messages you're getting is from your spirit guides and not just thoughts passing through your mind? This is how I do it. I trust myself 100%. I don't allow doubts to creep in. And before I start my reading day, I have a little ritual where before I sit down here and before I take my cards out, I greet my guides. I make sure my energetic space around me is clear of any negativity. So in other words, no arguments in the house ever happen in this room. There's no bad vibes going on here. This is my sacred space. And so I keep it clear. When I come in here, I'm cool, calm, and collected. And I say, I know when I'm in this room, I contact my guides, I greet my guides, and I say, welcome to this new beautiful day. Today, thank you for helping me with my readings. Today, please allow only the messages through that need to be given. Guide me in my readings, guide me in my mind. So already I acknowledge that they are here and we go forth. But this is not a 20 or 30 minute or an hour process. It's very quick. So that is how I start my day. So I know when I do my reading, the message is for my seeker. It's not some passing thought through my mind, those thoughts are now blocked out. Rob?
For me, I have, while I am not necessarily a ritual person, I do have my rituals. So my ritual is I try to always face west, because that's the corner in which Gabriel is in. That's my angel of, of choice, I guess. So Gabriel, I close my eyes and I say to her, help enlighten me, help give me wisdom, help me tell the person what needs to be told. And I do this every time before reading. I do it every time before reading, not because I have to, but because it takes my mind for a minute and settles it. So it settles me into a pattern. The other thing that I do is, of course, two of my spirit guides are Gabriel. That's who I feel like I get my wisdom from. Bagheera is who I get my strength from. Those are the two things that I use there. I do have a face on Gabriel, but when I'm reading, I don't. It's unimportant that it's unimportant during the readings what they look like. It's just important that they're there. So I'll say my little prayer, then while I'm shuffling, and I usually turn my face up, so it's as if I can feel that light coming upon me. I'll get a warm feeling. That's when I stop shuffling. That's when I start reading. So those are my rituals usually. The first thing in the morning, I just say a little something to the universe to say, hey, here I am. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. So just depends on what you want to say for that works best for you, Was all.
And that is actually what it's about, is you need to create your own sacred space, your own way. There's not one universal way to connect with spirit energy. And as Rob said, seeing their faces around you is not important. Some people go to the extremity of wanting to go into deep states of meditation, and going on this full hour deep subconscious journey and meeting their guides face to face. But that, yes, you can do it if you really do, but remember that your guides will show themselves to you in those deep conscious states when they are ready or they feel it is necessary. Having said that, I must also say that when you want to engage with spirit energy or spirit guide energy, that may not be your first step. A lot of people think that should be their first step. That is not your first step. That is, as you master trusting the energy and trusting, what is coming through you and not from you. It's coming through you. You can then maybe later on explore those, that drastic move of wanting to see your guide's face. That is not the first step.
Right.
So
it's not even really the first step to know who your guides are. The first step is just that feeling. Don't you think?
I agree. Yes, it's the feeling, and you can feel it. You definitely can, but you've got to eliminate the doubt. And this happens as you go through your process of learning tarot and following that step-by-step process of engaging your mind in your reading and getting to know your energy. Sometimes I read people and I can feel their nervousness on the other side, coming from all the way in the US. I'm in South Africa, coming from New Zealand or Australia. I can feel it here. I can feel the anxiety. It is because that is the line of communication I set up. And so no, and I just want to, Rob, touch on this briefly, how to talk to your guides, how to set up that communication channel. All right, because this is important.
Yes.
We didn't sit and have a cup of tea, They weren't here sitting having a cup of tea with me, and I said, okay, guys, this is how you know. all I did was, okay, I've got a story. When I was young, I was very super clairvoyant. I was contacted often during the night by spirits, and this made me, as a child, extremely afraid of the dark. And I used to have, do the whole screaming thing and run down the passage and, that type of thing. And I actually, as I grew older, developed anxiety towards the issue of sleeping in the dark, because I did often used to wake up at night and boom, there were, all these spirits in front of me. And so as I became older, I realized this was an issue I had to deal with. And so another mentor told me once, and this was the best advice I received. He said to me, you need to learn to set up that channel where you say, no, not now. And you have to overcome your anxiety of the dark. So I knew I had to do that. And I thought, well, that's stupid. How can I control it in that way? But I had no other option, and that's what I did. I actually sat down one day by myself and just by sheer thought had a mental, in my mind, I had this talk with my guides or the spirits that were visiting me. Do not appear to me. I'm setting up a mental boundary. I don't want to see you. I don't want to wake up and see you in front of me. Instead, if you have an important message to tell me, do it through feeling, through song, through word that passes through my mind, or pictures that pass through my mind. Do it as a slideshow. And do you know, the interesting thing is, Rob, as I grew older and I got more into reading, I used this technique to set up a line of communication with my guides so that I knew when I had a slideshow images passing through my mind, okay, I knew this is for the seeker. This is for my reading. When I got strong feelings of love or unhappiness or a dry throat or felt like a bang on my head, I knew this was something to do with my reading. So set up a channel of communication. Say, if you connect with music, say, okay, spirit guides, when I do my readings, connect with the music elements and make it loud so I can't ignore it. And it will happen exactly like that. If you connect with images, put the images through my mind. If you connect with smell, with hearing, or, set up your line of communication so if something comes through there, it is for your reading, it is for your seeker. Rob?
So we've got two comments here. How do you find out who your guides are? This is John Ann again. Are your guides different from your angels? Some people use alternately. And then Julio says, first time I received spirit was in church. They call it the Holy Spirit. So the way this came about for me, the reason that I have Bagheera here, the reason that Bagheera is my protector, and the reason that I see Gabriel as my guide, pretty much the same story. When I was younger, I saw a lot of things around, and without going too far into it, it took me toward a path. At the time, I was Christian. I still technically am, but it took me on a path outside of Christianity. It was a long time. The first time that I ever saw anything, I was perhaps 5. There's not a lot you can tell a 5-year-old, about. You're just seeing crap. That's what they generally tell you. So I went down a path of the occult when I turned. I think I started when I was 15. I started paying attention to what was going on. So some of these were spirit guides and some of them were not. Bagheera became my protector probably very early, I think, is what we figured out. But some of the books that I read, had mentioned the angels of the four corners. So the reason that I went to Gabriel is because that she is the angel of knowledge and enlightenment. And so it just made sense for me because that's who I was as a person anyway. I was someone who wanted knowledge and enlightenment and growth. So she made sense, you know. Um, how do you know if it's so, Joanne? I'm going to answer your question. How do you know who your spirit guides are? There's no way that Wazal and I, nor anybody else, can tell you who your spirit guides are. And I don't mean that bad. What I'm saying is it's a personal thing. Like Julio, you said yours, the first time was the Holy Spirit. And I'll tell you, the first time I walked into, when I was a Latter-day Saint, the first time I walked into a Mormon church and I felt actual Holy Spirit. I was Baptist before. We don't talk about God. We talked about hell a lot, but not about God. But so the first time somebody actually talked about the Holy Spirit, and you know, with that out that big behind it, there was this wild energy for me, and that helped cement my, oddly, for people who, you know, not going too far to the LDS side either, but that cemented my belief in that Gabriel was the person guiding me, not the person, the angel guiding me. So is it the same thing as your angels? Sure, it can be. Don't be confused by other people's paths. And that's something just exactly what you've said before. You know, other people are going to tell you, you're going to hear a million different things because everybody has their own individual idea of things. And they're generally, unless they're like Wazal and I, they're super locked in. They're like, no, it's my way. No, this is the way. You know, this is how it is.
This is the way. You got to do it like this. It's like, that's it. That, you know, no.
No, you don't. Tarot is a very open, you know what? Not just tarot. The occult is a very open thing. You don't have to be any specific thing. So while I agree with us all, find you a teacher and follow them, I also think that learn from other people. Just don't let their nonsense lead you down a rabbit hole that puts you in a bad place. So to find your spirit guide, to know who's talking to you, just have to listen. And I don't know how to say it better than that. I bet Julio can, because you know it is like the Holy Spirit. It is like it's like accepting a very good energy in that allows a good thing to flow out. What do you think, Wazal?
Correct. And you have to concentrate solely on your own energy, all right? So you're taking all this information in from everybody. Okay, the first thing you need to do is what do you believe in? What does your belief system say about guides and angels? And you know, what do you believe about the unseen, the divine? How is the hierarchy set up there? What type of beings exist in the unseen world? You have to have that system set up in your mind. And once you start to explore that journey, if it's not any of the traditional religions or doctrines that we know, you will have to go on that mission to seek out some system that you resonate with. Okay, that's what happened to me. I found a divination system that completely resonated with me from what I was reading and what I was seeing when I made my spirit connections. That was matching up. So Rob and I are not going to tell you believe in our system, because the two of us have different systems, but we come out to the same result. Okay. So have your belief system set up, because that's going to enable you to feel that you are communicating with some sort of guardian, all right? So I will encourage you also on this journey to get in touch with your own energy. As we're speaking here, Rob, I can feel my shoulders, my shoulder blades burn. So just to make mention, when my shoulder blades have this heat sensation, I know my guides are behind me. So
Mhm.
how my sister, Rob, you have something to say?
Oh no, I was
You
just going
look
to
like you
say,
want to.
for me, it's right here. So I was just thinking, because I was thinking the same thing. I can feel it. For me, it's right here. It's like a beam of light that's shown right here. So I know that they're shining the light this direction, because that's how I want to see it. As a light that's shown on me, that is enlightenment. So
That's amazing. And so I know also um, because I'm so in tune with my energy and I have taught myself how to read energy with feeling. Um, I know when there are other energies around me, even when I'm alone in the room. I know when it's good or bad energy. My guides give me a consistent feeling of the energy that they give me. I get the warmth. I feel the warmth on my shoulder blades. But also, when I'm doing very intense readings, I will call on the spirits of my ancestors to stand with me. Okay, so then I will make a mental. Sometimes I say it out loud. I will burn some sage around me, African white sage, and I'll say, I'm calling on the spirit of my ancestors to stand with me and my guides in the room and bring me the information that I need with the highest, through with the highest light, so that it may bring clarity to my seeker. Because, I deal with a lot of intense type of readings that involve crimes and things like that. So sometimes there are messages that, or things that your seeker is not privy to knowing. Some things are better left unsaid or unknown. And so spirit only gives you the information that you need. So I ask for only the important information to come through. And amazingly, until you experience it yourself, that trust you build up with the unseen and with your own energy happens over time. It's not, because the more your seeker confirms your reading or things that you say in your reading, the more confident you become in the energy that you're reading with. So yeah, Rob.
Lynn says, I get a funny kind of tingly goosebumps as confirmation. And it can be as subtle as goosebumps. It could be as subtle as you feel that burning in your, well, that's probably not that subtle for you. It could be a subtle thing, or it can be, something that is very overt, that confirms these things. I
And when sorry, Rob.
Oh, because I don't, because I allow things to tell me whatever it is. I'm very open. Again, this goes back to you and I being different, though we connect very well and we have the same answers, but I allow the guides to tell me whatever. And sometimes I'll edit. Sometimes I'll be like, now, if they don't want me to edit, that's when the loud music comes in, or, if it's loud, I don't edit. That's not something I can edit. I can't leave it out. I have before, and they screamed at me all night, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to sleep here, you know. Um, but the thing that the interesting thing about it is you don't even I find it very interesting the way that we come to our spirit guides. It's not for me. It wasn't something that I super sought out. It's not like I sat down and I meditated a long time to get to where my spirit guides were. One found me, the other one I found. So, and the way that the whole, you know, the light in the face, that's something that I set up. Just like you set up, you know, don't come and see me. I don't need to see you. You don't have to haunt me at night. I set up just shine a light on me, and then let me feel my energy field. So, you know, one of the things that I've told you before that I trained myself when we were younger, we were training ourselves in several different things, and one of the things that we taught ourselves was seeing fields, because then you can manipulate people's fields with what we were doing. So I've taken that away, the manipulate part, into just watching people's fields and knowing who they are, where they're sick, and things like that. But so interpreting that towards spirit guides, what I'll feel also is I just feel it kind of activate, almost like a shield around me when it's right. So that when they're throwing a bunch of crap at me, like what you're talking about. Now, I haven't done a lot of crime readings. I've tried, and I think I get a little too much information. But yeah, when they throw a lot of crap at me, it just hits that, and I take a minute, and I can deal with it. It's distributed over me, so I can deal with it easier, you know.
Yeah.
That's all.
And you know, how I know during my readings that I absolutely have to say something. But, you know, I've had those readings where I've had a song playing over and over in my mind, or I've had a phrase, because I connect well with language and proverbs and phrases and that type of thing. If I have those things flashing by my mind over and over, and I don't bring it out from my side in the reading, the seeker, my current, the person I'm reading, will tell me, they'll say something, and I would say, oh, wow, you know, I was just going to say that. And I thought after like that, when I was younger, when I was just starting out, I thought, you know, it's quite a it's a crappy thing to say to someone in every second you know, thing is, I was just going to say that. It's just come out and say it. Just say it before they do and see what the reaction is. But you know how I was compelled to do that as well is I found that often the thought or the picture would be so, or the feeling would be so overwhelming that I couldn't think about anything else. And so in other words, my guide is pushed to just stop on that thought, to that moment, and say it. So I would go, okay, just hang on a second. I have to say this. I'm not sure why I'm hearing this, but this is coming out. And then that would be the big aha moment of the reading, the message that had to be relayed. So in the beginning, I used to ask my guides, I would say, please open up my mind and guide me to my higher purpose. You know, what is your goal as a reader? My goal as a reader, and as you know, it really sounded stupid back then, but my goal as a reader was, I want to be the best reader in the world. I want to be the most accurate. I want to be right on top there with the best, you know. And how am I going to do that? Open my mind, show me another way, let me do it differently. I invite my guides to travel with me all day, so I know that I have my guides with me in the car. If I have a goal to achieve in life, I would, whether it with anything, I would say, this is my goal. Can you please accompany me to places and bring people into my path that will help me achieve that goal? And have you ever heard someone say, something told me to do that on that day, and that was the changing moment in my life? Or just at that moment, there wasn't a parking spot over there, and you know, I never go to the other side of the parking lot because of XYZ reason. That day, something just go that way. There I met someone who changed my life forever. You know, that is your guides sending you, pushing you, saying, go, go, go.
You
And
could
that's how it
almost
happens for me.
you could almost see it as like guardian angels, kind of.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. That's exactly guardian angels. So people refer to guides as different things, spirit guides, guardian angels. You feel the energy, you'll know, but you will not be able to feel their energy if you don't know your own energy. Learn how to read people. See yourself as a transmitting device. I see myself as this huge, big aerial or satellite dish transmitting energy out into the universe, and I'm able to receive energy back from the universe. That's what I do when I'm in company with people. My aerials go up. These aerials go up. Bing! And I start to feel people out. And I go, okay, you're uneasy, you comfortable. I pick up the energy. Learn how to do that. Once you learn to master, or at least start getting to know how to feel the energy and vibration out around you, you'll be more in tune to connecting with a higher vibration of the unseen world.
Mhm.
Rob?
I definitely agree with that. Um, you've got to start at the very, you can't start by running a marathon. You have to start at the very basics. And the very basics is knowing the difference between what your mind tells you and what your guides tell you. And sometimes that's hard. This kind of goes back to what John asked about. Sometimes it's hard. I will admit, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. But once you know once you know where you lay emotionally and mentally, then seeing those spirit guide messages becomes easier. Now, like you, because of the way that I had set my life up and now the way that I have set my life up, I see myself as just more of a beacon, and I let things emit from me and come to me. Um, and so while I watch people, of course, this goes back to energy reading too. But while I go and I watch people and I read them and I'm looking, and I've got things going on in my head that are telling me, mostly for me, when I get into a crowd, because I'm I'm very socially, I'm unhappy in social situations. So I tend towards, for me in a social situation, it tends to be just for alarm. When my antenna go up, I'm really just looking for alarm bells. But but I do still try to be a beacon for people. My big thing was the thing that I asked for when I started doing things um, was to help people. I felt like that karmically, I probably owed that to the universe to help people. And I wanted to be the best help that I could be, you know. And that is another reason, by the way, that we work together very well, because we both have that in common as well. That's something that you want to do as well. I saw Julio's comment on Gabriel. So Gabriel, yeah, she's in all of those. She's in all the major religious things. She's a Malachim, the Black Wings. She's on Judgment Card for sure. I believe Gabriel is the one with the flaming sword who booted the crap out of people out of the Garden of Eden. Kind of, like I've said probably before, kind of attitudinal sometimes, because Malachim have kind of an attitude, which is fine. So, but yeah. So what do you think was all? What do you think on?
You know, Rob, and on the question of, because this is a very debatable topic, and this is the whole issue with how do you meet your guides?
Yes.
Is yes, you can go into a deep state of meditation, and you can, if you really want to go down that path, don't make that your starting point, as we've said before.
Mm-hmm.
make that part of your journey. But then do guided meditations. Let someone guide you through the process. Meditation is quite a process on its own, because you have to also engage your sense of visualization while you're there. You go into yourself, you go on this whole journey with any meditation that you do. Guided meditations are the best way to do it. If you want to become in touch with your energy, meditation is also an excellent way of getting in touch with your energetic field. Okay. There are many resources on the internet where you can do guided meditations just for that. In fact, I've got a meditation group here on Facebook. I might post the links on this feed when we are done here. But yes, and Julio says he meditates with music. That's fantastic. So some people don't even need to close their eyes when they meditate. I can sit on the beach and I can stare at the waves, and I can do an entire meditation just by facing forward and concentrating on a wave. Other people close their eyes and they go deep into a deep state of subconsciousness. And so there are various ways, but to make it part of your process now, start with a simple method of just know what you believe in. Start to trust yourself in your readings. Get to know your energy. How does my energy field work? It's like getting to know how electricity works, right? Rob, I don't know what your education's like in the US, but I know my first bit of knowledge that I acquired when I was in junior school was how to connect a 3-point plug. And they taught us how light bulbs work and that type of thing. So you need to know how your own electricity works and interacts with the environment around you and with other people. Those are things you start off with when you are learning to connect with unseen energy or the unseen world. So yes, yeah, that was quite interesting. Do you have anything else to say on the subject?
On the whole beliefs thing, I will say that in our modern times, this is very difficult to do. You can see it all over the place that the people have a lot of trouble with this. Don't just connect to your beliefs. Don't just know what your core beliefs are. Set them as your principles. And I know this is going to hurt some people's feelings in America because I know how we are, but hold to your friggin' principles. So, I mean, it's not enough just to know your belief system. You have to know it, and you have to hold to your core beliefs. That means you have a set of principles and you hold to them. Even if other people are like beating the snot out of you over them, whatever, man, whatever. It doesn't matter. So know your beliefs, hold to them, be involved in a core set of principles. And that's really it for me.
That's right. Rob, that's the whole thing. If you don't set up your belief system, if you don't believe in traditional religions and, what you knew growing up, this is going to be a problem for you, okay? If you are following traditional ways, there's already a system set up for you. So it shouldn't be too difficult then to, just follow the system that you've been taught your whole life. So you basically set up your belief system. That is where you start. Robin, I can't tell you what to believe in. I can tell you that with most belief systems, you come out to the same result. I have met many light workers that come out and they do things their way, and we come out to mostly the same results. So that is all time for. But guys, please don't forget that we are doing our Major Arcana, the first 5 cards in the Major Arcana training. It starts next Wednesday. This is going to be quite intense training. Please go to the events in the group and go see what it's all about. We are going to be doing numerology applications, the upright and reversed meanings. You are going to it's going to be a training that takes place over 5 days. Each day we will be discussing a different tarot card, and we are really going to go in depth with the symbology, and you'll have notes that you can download from the group files as the training's taking place. Rob, how are you feeling about that training? Are you looking forward to it?
I'm very excited and ready for it. I am ready to do this. I'm looking forward very much to doing this with folks.
Also, guys, please, in case you did not notice yet, if you've just come onto the group now, Rob and I are on Patreon, so please come and support us there as well. This is another platform, and I'm just going to show the links. I'll show Rob's link in a second. From my side, Patreon is a great platform where you can actually, come on and support us with your dollars so that we can be here more and we can fulfill our missions that we came here to do. We would like, both Rob and I would love to do this as a full-time thing. So, come on there, support us. There's some extra learning material that you'll have access to. And so, Rob, do you want to talk about your Patreon page for a second?
Well, I think you just said everything. That's good enough for me. I just go to Texas Tarot, which is mine. And of course, I talk a lot about this page and promote it as well. My goal at the Patreon site is for new readers. So here I feel like this is for the intermediate and such reader, helping them get their feet underneath them. My Patreon, I'm kind of going to dedicate towards taking you pretty much like the Marine Corps. This is a hammer. That's the end that hits the nail. That's the friggin' nail. Really, I did my first live today, and that's what I focused on was, this is a tarot deck. This is what you do. Go buy the tarot deck, And I'm just going to use it to get readers. I want to help young readers where maybe some of us didn't really get that help, or we got help, but we got okay, you have to be gifted your first deck, and you got this and this, and you guys have all heard me talk about that in various things. Now I just want to give it to people in a little deal, and maybe they'll go and look at that, and some of these myths that we've got rolling around the tarot community will be pushed down in the next generation. Let's hope.
And also, Patreon is such an awesome platform, Rob. When I went to read, the goals and why the creators created this amazing platform, it's like a crowdfunding spot that will allow your supporters to, uplift you. And really what it is that we, Rob and I, are trying to invest in new broadcasting equipment, upgrade our studios. We want to be here more often. I am doing tarot mastery. So on Patreon, I am going to teach you all my little secrets. I'll be doing numerology applications in the tarot very intensely. I'm also going to be doing my own tarot deck, and so is Rob. And so we need that little bit of that crowdfunding and that support. In exchange, you will have access to some exclusive material individually from both of us. We do have separate pages. Okay, so again, the links to Patreon, I will post. It is posted in the comments, but we will post it in the description of this video. We would like to thank each and every one. We had quite an audience tonight for joining us on this live discussion. And thank you, Rob. Thank you for doing this with me again this evening.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I enjoy it every time. This is my day. I look forward to it.
And with that, we are going to say namaste.
Oh, I forgot peace again.